Hey there, welcome back to another video. So my name is James and I'll be a freshman at UConn this fall. I had the wrong colors on. There we go. So if you want to see my college decision reaction, you can click up in one of those corners or check out the description down below. And I've wanted to make a revealing my stats video for a really long time after I saw Justin Che's video. Which will be in the description. It really inspired me to make my own and share my perspective on my statistics. So a couple of ambitious underclassmen have DM'd me on Instagram at @JamesAoShang to ask what my stats are and to ask for some advice, which I thoroughly encourage. I really enjoy giving advice to underclassmen and helping them in their college process and college search in any way I can. But college admissions, as much as some people may think that stats are the only factor into getting in, colleges really look at a whole slew of factors, including your statistics, that's definitely a big one, but also your extracurriculars, your recommendations from teachers, your high school demographics, and your essays. So they really do a holistic review. I'm sure that's a term you've heard before, but they really review your application holistically. They take a look at each of the different parts of your application and take it all into consideration. So you could have the best GPA, but if you write a really not so great essay, then that will reflect a little bit worse than someone whose GPA is a little bit lower but has a better essay. So with this video, my intention is not to brag or be boastful about my stats, but it's just to give you more context about my acceptance into UConn and about me as a person. And my statistics are in no way reflective of UConn or my high school as a whole. I just want you to keep that in mind. They're only reflective of me throughout my high school career. So if you're applying to schools with the same stats and GPAs and SATs as me, you may or may not get into the same schools or get rejected from the same schools that I did. It just depends on how you write your essays and, as I said before, your different parts of your application. In college admissions, they're kind of like a game where each person plays to their advantage and puts their best cards on the table. But at the end of the day, it's up to the admissions officers and the college as a whole to accept you or not. And it's just a little bit of luck as well. So with that being said, let's dive into my stats. Let's start off with my PSAT, my SAT, my GPA, my SAT2s, my APs, basically all the 4-letter acronyms that you can think of that are administered by College Board. I've taken them. And then we'll dive into my extracurriculars and then honors and achievements. So let's start off with my PSAT. So I took the PSAT in 11th grade and I scored a 1200 on it. That was a 630 in reading and a 570 in math. That didn't qualify me for national merit. I think I had to have something around maybe 1450 for national merit. I'm not sure what the PSAT goes up to. I forget. But yeah, probably a little bit higher to the 512 for the PSAT. And for the SAT, I took both of them in senior year, which I don't really recommend because that's a short time to get your results back and then decide if you want to send them to colleges. So I would take them in junior year. But since I didn't have the luxury, and because I wasn't really planning ahead in junior year, I took them both in senior year. One in August, one in October. The one in August, I got a 1290 on it. I took that with the essay. I got a 670 on the reading and writing, a 620 on the math, and then a 17 out of 24 on the essay. Which, you know, I'll take that for the essay. The essay doesn't really matter. Only a select number of schools ask for the essay as a required part of your application. But if you have a really good essay, you can send it in. And in October, I got a 1270 on the SAT, which is a 640 on the reading, writing, and 630 on the math. And I did not take the essay with the October SAT. So I got kind of lucky. I didn't have to send my SATs in to any of my colleges because they were all test optional, which definitely worked in my favor because my SATs and PSATs were not the greatest among my peers. They were scoring around 1450, they were scoring around 1500, maybe even 1600. And I'm down here with 1290s and 1270s, which, you know, I guess it's okay. It got me into UConn, and that's all I need. I just need one college. I remember a story from comedian Hassan Minaj. He got a 1310 on his SAT, and I'll actually play the clip right here.
I got a 1310 1410 on the SAT.
And that opened up the floodgates. People on the internet started making fun of me. A girl in the front row started making fun of me.
And that got him into, not his dream college, but it got into a college that helped him kickstart his career. And that's basically all he needed. You just need one college to help him become a comedian and then get a show with Netflix that was unfortunately cancelled. I loved Patriot Act. Sorry, I digress. So my GPA. My school only reports weighted GPA, so that's basically accounting for the difficulty of AP classes and honors classes versus college prep classes, which are the little bit easier classes. So out of a 4.5 scale, my cumulative GPA from freshman to junior year was a 3.46. So this is what I submitted to colleges, and even though I also submitted quarter one grades, I don't count those in my GPA because GPA is only calculated at the end of the year, so therefore they aren't calculated into my GPA. So for AP classes, I took one in junior year. I took AP US History, and I scored a 3 on that, so about average scoring. As for senior year, this year I'm taking AP French, AP Environmental Science, and AP Psych. So we will see what kind of scores I get on those. So for SAT 2s, or also known as SAT subject tests, I took 3 over 3 years. I took the bio test in freshman year. I got a 600 on that. And I took the chemistry and world history test on the same day, and I got the same score of a 530 on both of those. So obviously I did not send those to colleges, except for Georgetown. I sent those to Georgetown, but maybe that's why they rejected me. Anyways, I did not send my SAT or SAT 2s to UConn, so that might have helped a little bit. So let's dive into extracurriculars and awards, shall we? The 3 major things I did in high school as my selling points to colleges was sports, violin, and Modern Nine Nations, or kind of like debate. So freshman year, I did Modern Nine Nations. I did violin in orchestra in and outside of the high school. I was a goalkeeper on the freshman soccer team. And just as a side note, in soccer, they call the person who stands in front of the goal a goalkeeper. And in hockey, they call it a goalie. Anyways, I digress again. Oh my god, I'm getting on so many tangents. And I did junior districts, which is a violin competition or class in Northeast, where people from middle school to 9th grade, that was a cutoff for junior districts, they compete, and if they win the competition, they get sent off to junior districts, which is kind of like a festival. You get to play music, and then if you get a high enough score, you can be sent off to states, and then nationals is after that. And basically states and nationals is where you can really flex, because it's more prestigious than just like regional junior districts. But unfortunately, I never went to states because I wasn't good enough. Anyways, so in sophomore year, I did Modern Nine Nations. I was a Tri-M member, which is basically basically an honor society for musicians. It's a national organization that brings musicians together around making music and sharing music with the community. It stands for Modern Music Masters, which is basically Tri-M, like MMM. I was just a regular member of that. I also did violin in and outside of the high school. In orchestra, for Modern Nine Nations, I won at the Boston Modern Nine Nations. I won a verbal commendation, which basically just means like it wasn't exactly an award where I got a piece of paper. It was like less than an honorable mention. It was just like, it wasn't really a pity award, but it was kind of like a little bit above that, if you get my drift. I was the junior varsity goalkeeper in soccer, and I also got accepted into senior districts in the Northeast region. So senior districts is open from 9th grade to 12th grade, and it's a little bit higher than junior districts, but a little bit lower than states and nationals. For junior year, I was the Tri-M vice president, so I was on the board of officers, as you could say, I guess. I also did Modern Nine Nations. I did violin in and outside of the high school. I was in the National Honor Society, the French National Honor Society, and I won an award at the National High School Modern Nine Nations, which we basically traveled to New York, and we competed as a whole group of students from my high school. The way that National High School Modern Nine Nations works is a little bit different than other conferences or other competitions in MUN, where they don't give out specific delegate or individual awards. They give it out as a whole high school, so all the delegates from the high school have to work together, have to be on the same page, they have to bring the same energy and same passion as one another within the same delegation. So our high school won the Delegation Award of Excellence. So everyone from our high school, around, I think it was around 17 kids that year, won that award. So we all shared that award. And what was a little bit lucky for us is that we came back from New York 1 to 2 weeks before March 13th, which is basically our last day in school before everything shut down, or maybe it was March 12th. But basically March 12th or 13th was the last day before everything shut down. And we came back to Boston 1 to 2 weeks before everything. So we had the full experience in New York, and then we came back, which we were really lucky to have. After we left New York, basically New York became a hotspot, so I'm glad we got out of there. For senior year, I am the Tri-Am president, basically just like the head of all the operations for Tri-Am. I do violin in and outside of the high school. I created my photography business, and I'm a high school helper officer. Basically, that is a local tutoring club where we tutor kids from middle school and we pair them with high school tutettes. Oh, I don't know. And basically the high school tutors get community service hours, middle schoolers get someone to help them with their homework or essays. So basically it's a win-win for both parties. And also, I won a 3rd place in C-SPAN's Student Cam documentary contest, which I can probably insert a link somewhere around this video or in the description down below. So I won that competition, which was really cool because I did not expect to win that. My first entry was in junior year, and I didn't win anything in junior year. And my second entry was in senior year, so I'm just really lucky to have won something with my second time in the competition. So with that being said, those are all my statistics for my grades, my SATs, GPA, extracurriculars, basically everything. In a separate video, I'll probably read my essays and supplementals, so you can watch out for that. But basically, if you want to talk to me about anything, about UConn, about MUN, about political science, that's probably going to be my major at UConn, about photography, or even if you're having a bad day and you just want to chat with someone, you can hit me up on Instagram at James L. Shung. And I pretty much check it every day, so don't be shy, just hit me up. Anyways, it's already midnight and I have to go to sleep. So with that being said, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.